So are you a handyman? Are you a handyman that wants to start up your own business, that do your own thing, right? The the only way that you can go full time is if you have a partner that's making enough money to cover the bills and all the finances for you to go set out and pursue your dream. If you don't have a partner like that, then do it part time. Do it part time until it reaches unlimited expectations, right? My advice to you is if you're handy, you love fixing things, you have no problem being social, and you can talk a pretty good game, talk well for yourself, you're good with your hands, go out and do it. Go out and do it. It's really, really simple. There's so many different things you can do. So many different things you can do. So like if you live in a four season state, right? And summertime comes around, make sure you have yourself a lawnmower, make sure you have yourself some trimmers, an edger, and go get a couple of accounts. Go find some accounts where you're doing this person's grass either weekly or bi-weekly. When you're doing grass, you never want to go more than 2 weeks. It's always either bi-weekly or weekly, and it really depends on the client, because some clients want you to come back weekly, and usually you charge anywhere between $30 and $50. It's all about yard size, and it really boils down to what they want. Some people, they don't give a damn, they don't give a rat's ass about edging. They just want the grass cut. Just come in, cut my grass, and you're good. Take away the dead grass, and you're good to go. Others, they want the shabazz. They want the whole thing. They want the shrubs cut and nice and trimmed, looking really nice. They want edging. They want the works. So obviously those customers, you charge them more. But anyways, also in the summertime, power washing. Power wash people's driveways. Power washing makes actually very, very good money. Me, for instance, like I'm the handyman that likes to do a little bit of everything. I'll do drywall, paint, electrical, plumbing, floor tiles, ceramic, backsplashes, putting in installations for like kitchen cabinets, putting installations for vanities and bathrooms. Like I try to do a plethora of everything. Try to be like the one-stop guy. Deck repair. Deck repair is really simple. Deck repair. Building the deck. I'm more on the apprentice side. Can I build a deck? I'm good enough with my hands where I can say yes, I can, but it's not a project that I would take on. Building a floating deck, those are simple. The floating decks are easy, but I'm talking about building like a 10 by 12 two-tier deck where the bottom is 10 by 12, upstairs it's like 5 by 8. I gotta build steps and all this crazy stuff. That's a big job to have. Plus, even if you do have the experience building that, you do want to build it with someone. I just came back from Florida in June of this year. Today's December 20, today's December 31st, by the way. It has flown by as all the years seem to do, because time does not sit. Time sits and waits for no one. But I moved back in June, back to Pennsylvania in June, and we're actually headed back to Florida. And I'm done. I'm done moving. I'm done doing all the moving. So my current lease is up in April. We came back to kind of help usher my daughter into the next step in her life, and we're doing that. We're actually going to downsize the current place that we stay in at. She's going to stay within the community, and she's going to move into a smaller apartment by herself. She does not want to move to Florida. It's all good. I mean, I don't know what she has against Florida. But anyways, the point of this video is if you are a guy that's handy, if you have all the basic tools, you have 2 hammers, you have a rubber mallet, if you have saws, table saw, hand saw, a sawzall, if you have all types of screwdrivers, if you have a couple of drills, what else? If you have if you have ratchets, if you have a whole big tool set, go for it. Go for it. How do you wanna go for it? Now the next question is, how do I go for it? How do I gain clientele? How do I do that? Well, there's two ways. There's two ways that you can gain clientele. One, you can go through Angie's List, which is now, I think it's a Home Advisor, if I'm not mistaken. Or Home Advisor is like connected to Angie's List. I don't know how that whole thing works. I haven't done it in a long time, but I do know that you can do that. I would stay away from Nextdoor. Nextdoor is cool, but it's really slow, and you have to pay for Nextdoor to do like ads and stuff like that. So, but it's like really, really, really slow. So, I wouldn't even bother with that. I had a bad experience with that where it was just too slow, and you're putting out your content, you're putting out videos, you're putting out ads, and you're trying to reach out to people, but you want to at least have a good ratio turnover to where if I'm spending $90 a month, which that's what it was, $90 a month. If I'm spending that much a month, I need enough foot traffic to come in to be able to pay that 2 times over, and it just wasn't happening. So I had to get rid of that. But in the beginning, back in like 20, like pre-COVID, I was messing with Angie's List, and I was paying $600 a month, but I was getting really good leads. So I would make about $4 grand a month. Sometimes I wouldn't, but most of the time I was making $4 grand a month. So I wasn't feeling that $600 I was spending. Now, is it a hustle? Yes, it's a hustle. You cannot be afraid to drive. A lot of people are like, I'm not driving 20 miles to do this. I'm not doing that. You cannot be afraid to drive, because when you open that door, you expand the opportunities, you meet new people, and you gotta do what you gotta do. If scared, they say scared money don't make money. Outside of Angie's List, where I first started, it was going well until COVID struck, and COVID just dried things up. It dried things up to pretty much zero. Then after that, I had a friend of mine who still is actually, an Airbnb manager slash cleaning company. So he's got a really good profile, and I worked with him. He used my service for some time, and he offered me two houses. He said, "Hey, look, listen. If you manage these 2 houses, the owner is a good owner. He's someone who will not argue with you when it comes to like damages and stuff like that, and you'll manage this house. You'll clean this house. You'll fix all the maintenance issues, and you'll take care of the lawn and stuff like that." And I got a lot of experience out of it. I'm not gonna lie. I got a lot of experience out of that. So I know how to work with Airbnb clients. I know how to manage guest expectations, and it was a pretty good tool. Then I decided to move to Florida some years after that, and that's when my handyman business really took off. It really took off. I wasn't doing Airbnb no more, and I thought I was. I actually thought I was gonna go back to Florida, and I thought I was gonna do Airbnb again, but for some strange reason, it was like hard. And going back to creating a good clientele, I created a good clientele back in Pennsylvania, and I got one client that I got really cool with, and he knew I was leaving to Florida. He said, "When you leave to Florida, let me know when you get there. I'll have you hook up with my cousin, and he does property management, and you're gonna take off from there." And he was right. I took off very well from there. I was dealing with West Orlando Property Management. Might want to check them out if you ever want to move to Florida. West Orlando Property Management. And man, I learned a lot. So if you get connected with a property manager, you want to get connected with a property manager that has a good profile, has a lot of houses under their belt, they're established, Um, you could find somebody who's just on the up and up and just starting, but if you're trying to jump into the pool and you're trying to expand your opportunities and have a lot of opportunities, get down with someone who is a property manager that has a good profile. West Orlando Property Management has about like 200 plus houses, so I was good. I was getting maintenance calls. This is broken. That's broken. You got to take this refrigerator out, dump that refrigerator, bring the new refrigerator in, install this, install that. I mean, there was a lot of turnovers. So if somebody left at the end of their lease, they didn't renew. I had to come in and repair whatever needs to be repaired, paint whatever needs to be painted, and get this house going for the next tenant. Florida is very good for a handyman, and that's one of the reasons why. The other reason why is because Florida is in constant building mode. Like Florida will take a whole entire piece of land, and just throw a community there. The more communities go up, the more work is available for handymen. So another route, which I never took this route, but another route you could take is if you're good at doing flooring, you can actually go to like new builds and push your service to the new builds, and possibly get hired to put in flooring. The only problem with that is when you're doing that type of work, as far as like labor wise goes, and they're gonna pay you what they pay. It's not like you can come in here and say, okay, I have 1,900 square feet. I'm gonna charge you guys $2 a square foot. I'll pick up all the materials. Don't worry about all that, and we'll take it from there. No, they're gonna pay what they dish out, which I never did that because I didn't have to. That's just another avenue. I was making good enough money with West Orlando Property Management to the point where I didn't even have to have another property management company that I work with. But when I'm currently living in Pennsylvania. We're moving back. When I go back, I do want to have maybe two more property management companies that I work with, and that's just to fill in for the dry days, because there's days where you're not getting any calls. Sometimes it could turn into like a couple of weeks or whatever, you're not getting any calls, but you want to make enough money to the point where it just covers those gaps. So if you're listen, if you're a guy that has, and if you're a woman too, let me not just put it on men. With that being said, the ratio of how many handymen do you have and how many handymen women do you have, there's more handy men than handy women. But with that being said, if you're someone who is into fixing shit, someone who loves tools, like I love tools. I'll go to Lowe's and I'll go to Home Depot, man, and I'm like a kid at the candy shop. I love to especially like Christmas time when they have like a lot of deals on like toolboxes and tool gadgets and all kinds of stuff. A lot of times you'll come into my tool shed and you'll be like, wow, why do you have like 3 saws? Because things happen. I'm forgetful. I actually left a handsaw somewhere, and till this day, it's been about like 3 months to 4 months. Till this day, I think I know where I left it, but I called the owner and they claimed that there's nothing there. Don't know how true that is. It is what it is. You take the L, you keep it moving. But I keep doubles and triples of things because 1, things break, and 2, when you have a lot of things going on, shit happens and you misplace your belongings. And that, I misplaced my belongings, and literally I lose sleep over it. I lose sleep over thinking about the item itself and just kicking myself in the head like, damn, because you become attached to your tools. But how much can you make? How much do you want to make as a handyman? How much do you want to make? First and foremost, start up an LLC. LLC is easy. It's quick. You can go to places like LegalZoom and they can do it for you. There's There's another website. I forgot the name of the website. ZBiz, something like that. Starts with a Z, something like that. I don't know. But LegalZoom is one of the front and center sites. I think it's like $150 to start up a LLC, and then you just gotta comply with whatever whatever they want you to do, like doing an EIN number and things like that. You can do a small business loan, but that's a video for another day. Small business loan, you gotta have like a year under your belt. You just can't get an EIN number and think like, oh, I'm just gonna charge everything to my company or I'm gonna do this small business loan and everything's all good. But anyways, that's a video for another day. You don't necessarily have to start up an LLC, but you want to have an LLC because you want to have limited liability. You want anything that goes wrong, you want them to attack the LLC and not you personally. Oh wow! What else? So if you do, let's say if you do about 10 people, out of those 10 people, you want at least 3 of them to talk to other people. You want to do good work, and you want to have the best price in town. And be negotiable. Don't be that handyman that goes in there and says, it's $1,700 for everything that you want done, take it or leave it. Don't be the handyman that goes in there and say it's $1,700 and I can't start until you give me $500 up front. Don't be that guy. I've never had someone not pay me. Thankfully. I haven't ran into that person. Now you will. It will happen. I know it's gonna happen to me. But out of this time, I've been very fortunate that I've had no issues with people paying me. I've literally had no problems with that. I've had people that I walked away from. Not everybody's manageable. It's just, as social as I am, as accepting as I am, not everybody is fun to deal with. I remember this one client, she was just too much, and I held on for quite some time. But what I started to notice that she was doing was she was really she just was adding things as I was going on, and she got what she wanted to get done. She got the labor cost, we agreed everything, and she was paying me as I was going, but then she would continue to just add stuff and kind of ignore labor expansion, as far as like, so if I'm doing $1,700 worth of work to start off with, and she added 2 more things which raised the labor cost to like $2,000, she would try to ignore the expanded labor costs, or she would ignore the increase, and she just kept doing it, and it got to that point where I was like, I can't handle that. So I unfortunately I had to walk away, and she was actually a person that had a lot of money. I remember her telling me that she was like, she used to be a millionaire, and things kind of like fell apart, and this happened, that happened. She was always telling me her life stories. And that's another thing too. So when you're in there and you're doing work for these people, for your clients, talk to them, hear them out. Sometimes they just want somebody to talk to, and it's good for you because they feel comfortable with you, and they just keep you around. But yeah, so I am headed back to Florida before April. I'm hoping to be there by no later than March, and I'm gonna jump right back on the horse. So I'm working at a hotel in Pennsylvania. I'm an engineer, and it's fun. But with that being said, it's a new building, so there's a lot of times where I'm just doing that for 8 hours straight. I'll have my PMs and things I have to do in the hotel, my little checks, my little dailies that I do. But after that, when you're doing your PMs and your dailies, it don't take you 8 hours. It probably take you an hour at best. especially when you know it's repetitive and you're seeing the same numbers over and over again. You got to go into each room and check. It becomes something that you can do really quick. So about an hour out of the 8 hour shift. But I mean, there's times where I'll be praying. There's times where I'm actually actually praying for a damage. I'm praying for something to go down so I can have something to do. I spend a lot of time in my office, at my desk, just drawing. So if you take a look at my desk here, you take a look at my desk. This is a desk that I built. I built this desk. I was not gonna sit around and wait for the company to buy me a desk. So I took it upon myself. To make this desk. I had a lot of fun doing it. A lot of this wood came from just extra wood when the hotel was being built. I saw all this extra wood laying around. I seen how long they were taking doing certain things. So I was like, I'm not gonna be that engineer that's just gonna sit around and wait for you guys. And I'm glad I built it. Because they never bought me a desk. Yeah, they never bought me a desk. They did get me a workbench. But even with that, I added a few things to that workbench. And overall, I love what I do. Apparently, we are the highest paid engineers in the area. A lot of engineers are making like $18,000, $19 an hour. We make $20 an hour, which is not bad. But it was a really big adjustment when I first got into the engineering, because I haven't worked for someone in about 4 or 5 years. So, getting back into the work field, working for someone, it was a readjustment. When you're working for yourself, there's nobody to tell you what to do. Even your clients, even though your clients are your part-time bosses, even your clients, they give you certain demands, but there's that feeling of being controlled is never there. So I would wake up whenever the hell I wanted to wake up. And I remember my wife telling me, she's like, why don't you get up at like 5 in the morning and do things and be home early? A lot of times, your work is going to dictate what you do. So if I have like a really, really big project and I'm doing flooring, I'm preparing a house to be put on the market, to be in the real estate market, to be sold. So I'm doing flooring, painting, ceiling lights, changing receptacles. I'm changing toilets. I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff, painting the garage, maintaining the lawn care. That type of work is gonna dictate me to the point where, you know what, I need to get up at 6 in the morning so that I could have an entire day of work, and I can get most of this stuff done in the beginning part of working at this site. Like that, at the end, I'm not doing a lot of shit. So, but there is days where I do get up a little too late, and I'm like, damn, I done screwed this day up. I'm still gonna go out and do some stuff, but I think I slept in a little too much. The days that I do sleep in too much, it's just because the day before I was just out late, and I work long hours, but I love what I do. And not one time was I like, damn, I gotta be here for 12, 14 hours doing this. Time flies. It goes by fast when you love what you're doing. So if you want to be a handyman and you're good with your hands and you can talk to people, do it. If you have a partner that's making good money and they can support you going out, doing what you got to do financially, and they're able to cover the bills, don't hesitate. Do it. And if you don't have that luxury where you have the partner that's able to cover everything while you pursue your dream, do it part-time. Build yourself up, and eventually start working for yourself. And I know you're probably asking, why are you working for a hotel? When I came back to PA, things were really slow. I dipped into my savings, and it got to the point where I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to get a job. And My friend that I was working with doing Airbnbs before I left to Florida, he's the cleaning manager here at the hotel, and he kept telling me, "Yo, come through. We got this new hotel opening." And it got to the point where I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna have to come through, bro. What's up? Talk to me." And I got the job like literally the next day. So I'm glad I'm here because now I'm making residual money with the hotel, and then I'm doing my stuff part time. But when I move back to Florida, it's a wrap. I'm going back to full time handyman, and on the weekends I'm gonna be doing my umpiring of softball and baseball, and I just really can't wait.